Today's earnings had chip suppliers securing $100 billion backlogs like software platforms, defense agencies completely fleeing popular apps to dodge AI hallucinations, and the owner of Olive Garden deliberately shrinking meals just to get people in the door.
It is a fascinating contrast in physical reality. Looking at the reports over the last couple of days, the underlying operations at companies like Micron, BlackBerry, and Darden look completely different than their headline numbers suggest.
Right, and let's start with Micron because that story is, frankly, incredible. They are a cyclical hardware company, but they just reported $100 billion in multi-year obligations, which is strictly an enterprise software metric.
The physical scale of the AI build-out is just so capital-intensive that chip makers are refusing to take the manufacturing risk alone. Micron essentially forced its hyperscaler customers to pre-fund the supply chain. I mean, they are sitting on $22 billion in customer deposits right now.
Which is basically acting as interest-free financing for their fabrication plants.
Exactly. For the first time, Micron started measuring the business with the ASC 606 remaining performance obligation metric. That is classic SaaS accounting applied to a hardware manufacturer. They locked in take-or-pay multi-year contracts because tech capacity is so physically scarce.
That is a huge structural shift, although there is this sudden safety limit to the AI boom on the software side, which showed up clearly in BlackBerry's report.
Right, the deterministic safety wall. Generative AI hallucinates. That is fine for writing emails, but sovereign nations and robotics platforms are realizing you cannot put a probabilistic AI model in charge of a multi-ton vehicle or national intelligence.
You definitely do not want your autonomous systems getting creative.
No, you want rigid certainty. That is why NVIDIA standardized BlackBerry's legacy operating system for its physical AI stack. Global governments are literally pulling agencies off consumer messaging apps and retreating to BlackBerry's deterministic software to guarantee safety.
It sounds like an amazing strategic pivot, except the report quality underneath is pretty messy. That massive defense account push is hiding severe corporate churn, with their standard enterprise retention rate dropping all the way to 92%.
The private sector product is still bleeding B2B subscribers. You always have to look at the physical volume beneath the headline.
Well, which actually brings us to the consumer side of this earnings batch with Darden restaurants. While tech is spending billions on deposits, normal consumers are so constrained that Olive Garden had to engineer lower transaction sizes just to save foot traffic.
It's targeted value cannibalization. They aggressively promoted lighter portion meals and intentionally took an 80 basis point hit on the average check just to physically pull the weekend lunch crowd back into the dining room.
They are also flat out refusing to partner with Uber Eats or DoorDash because the delivery economics ruin their margins. They would rather sell cheaper plates in-house. But Miro, the headline revenue looked fantastic. They posted 13.7% sales growth.
An accounting illusion is doing the heavy lifting there. Over half of that top-line growth came exclusively from a quirk in the calendar. They had an extra 14th week in their fiscal quarter.
It always comes back to the calendar.
And ironically, that extra week dragged down their fine dining profitability by forcing a slow Memorial Day onto that specific ledger.
So the real takeaway across this whole window is that physical constraints are calling the shots. Hardware needs literal cash deposits, robots need legacy code, and restaurants just need warm bodies.
It makes for incredibly revealing management discussions.
Truly. The individual company episodes are right there in the feed with the full transcripts, unpacking exactly how executives are managing these physical bottlenecks and pricing experiments.
Catch you next time.